as you feast or feed on wisdom and truth, it actually radically impacts the way you're thinking without even working hard. The other morning I was on my way to work and I was thinking, it's amazing how much what I listen to and what I think about influences my attitude, my perspective, and my overall thought process, and my ability to solve problems or be creative. And it was because I was listening to something that was actually full of wisdom and truth. I was thinking about something and listening to an audio presentation where it was like, oh, these are great ideas. These are the ideas that are based on true wisdom, and they happen to be based on growing a business too. But they were thinking about, what does the Lord want? How does the scriptures talk about how we should address situations? And then applying it to real life scenarios, growing our business, impacting the issues in our community, and all that kind of stuff. And as I was pulling into the parking lot, I was thinking, this would be a great thing to tell you about, because as you feast or feed on wisdom and truth, it actually radically impacts the way you're thinking without even working hard. It's kind of like eating good food. Your body digests those nutrients and it just makes your body stronger, operate better, your mind operate better. And when you eat on junk, it just drags you down.
Oh, I've eaten too much pizza again.
So getting back to what we feast on our mind, this idea of truth and wisdom is something super important, because let's face it, when we're exhausted and we're tired, we want to do just mindless things. And sometimes that's okay, but a lot of times, like if I'm going through my feed and I'm just looking at stuff on YouTube or I'm looking at stuff on Insta, after a while, I realize it actually isn't helping me rest. It actually isn't giving me energy, because when I rest, I'm resting to recharge. I'm trying to do something to get more energy back. But I realize that when I think about wisdom and truth, that's really helpful. Because quite frankly, running a company, being a leader, being a successful entrepreneur, those things are difficult and challenging on their own. But you've got to understand that when you get tired and exhausted and you're continually pushing it, your ability to make good decisions, to make the right decisions in your company and for your people, can be triggered or hampered by not being rested, not being restored. And I have found that going and feeding on things that are true, things that are wise, such as scripture, concepts that are just profound, whether it comes from poetry or comes from the Bible, or it comes from just wise people talking and their observations in life. One of the things you want to remember is these type of things are all throughout scripture. These encouragements, these admonitions, if you will. Proverbs 16:16 says, it's better to get wisdom than gold. It's better to get insight than silver. And I'm telling you what, you can have a lot of money and be dumb stupid.
Are you stupid or something?
I'm as stupid as a stupid does.
If you have wisdom and you have insight, the decisions you make will be so much better. The other thing that's a really interesting side note that I've learned is if you work with your mind a lot, rest with your body. Go out and do something physical. It'll actually free your mind up and allow you to think more things. But if you work with your hands, go and feed your mind. And that switching to a whole nother modality and everything else can actually give you more energy. Those things feed me and they encourage me. And I'll tell you, on this one last note, this morning I was coming in and I was listening to this gentleman speak. He was talking about a really huge business deal and how it evolved over the last 10 years and how much the government was going after them and trying to shut them down. But what was happening was there were opportunities or moments in the stress and the endurance that they were getting great results from the assessments and great results from independent sources, and their value of their company was going up, and it was proving over and over again that they weren't doing something criminal, they were doing something just supernatural. I got out of the car from listening to that, and I was like, my faith just went up. I woke up this morning and my faith and my energy level was down, but just feasting on that truth and just feasting on that wisdom of how they approached it and their endurance encouraged me, hyped me up, it got me excited. I walked in to the office ready to face more challenges. Why? Not because I'd gone on a walk, not because I'd eaten well, those are all important, not because I didn't have dessert last night, but because I was feasting on truth and wisdom on the way to work, and it made a big difference in my day. And I hope that this piece of wisdom makes a difference in your day and encourages you to do the same.